Welcome to the North versus South podcast. Wait, didn't we change our name? This is a different episode. This is from the archives. What you're about to listen to is an excerpt from a test podcast that we recorded way back in 2017. This is just after the E3 conference that has happened. Be aware, the audio quality in this podcast is very dicey. We had no idea what we were doing.
So what did you see the EA that guy messing up?
What, Jesse Wellen?
Yeah. Did you watch that video then he sent that out?
No, because that was a live stream and you sent it out like after he said whatever he said.
Well, no, I meant that video where he said what actually happened.
Oh, right. I haven't seen it, but I've read a lot about what happened. So
Wait, it wasn't the teleprompter.
No? What was it?
Well,
he was just nervous.
He made a big mistake. He didn't actually read the script before. It did read like, when I watched it, it did read like someone who just walked on stage and thought they would wing it, and then they got on stage and they made one like tiny mistake and it kind of snowballed and their brain just got messed up and they couldn't sort of find their way out of it. He said he didn't revise the script. Then he spent the last few hours rehearsing the script, and then they said to him, look, give me this new script to revise, and then wherever this script would be on the teleprompter, and they said yeah. So then he went out there and he was expecting the script that he revised to be on the teleprompter,
right?
And it was a different script. What was on the teleprompter, and then they kind of said, we're going to talk for it, but there'll be people talking, and then it'll be you, and then out of nowhere she's like, come, hey Jesse, and he's like, because then you see the bit where he turns around, he's like, hey, I'm
right, okay, fair enough.
But the thing is, you can't have a go about it. Well, he should have really revised, but at least he come out and he's like said, I've made a mistake. But
yeah, I mean, look,
people make mistakes.
People are crapping all over him for it, and they can do what they want. But I've actually been in a similar situation, not in front of millions of people worldwide, but I actually went on local radio to do an interview quite some years ago, and basically I was going on the radio to promote a charity that I work with at the time. I didn't work directly with the charity. What I did is whenever they had a fundraiser, I ran the sound. Every year they had a bigger fundraiser, so that like every sort of school term they would have like a Friday night gig, but every summer they would have a huge day and there'd be multiple stages and there'd be like 10 different bands through the day and then another gig in the night, and there'd be scouts would be there, guides would be there, just a whole host of things they come. So I went down to the radio. Well, I got asked to go on it, and I said that's fine. And I had an email from the radio station, and it said, if you would like to send us some questions that you would like us to ask you for you to answer, then just send them in before you get here. I looked at that and I thought, nah, it's fine. I'll just get there and I'll just wing it. I know what I need to say. And then I get there, and then the guy keeps asking me all these questions, and he's like, oh, so what does the charity do? And I'm like, the charity works with the local. They work with the local young people. All right, and what do they do? And basically, because I haven't done any work with what the charity actually does day to day, I was like, do you know what? I don't actually know what they do. I know what their name is. Can I remember it still? No. And ever since then, I've appreciated the fact that anytime you see someone having an interview who is particularly like a celebrity, if they're going on like Jonathan Ross or something, well, not Jonathan Ross, but something less chatty, but something more interviewy, they will have actually sent their questions that they want to answer ahead, because otherwise you get into situations like me where that you get asked questions that you don't know the answer to and you look silly live on air, or like Jesse where he hadn't done any preparation. A newsreader would have been fine to just read the teleprompts, but Jesse's not a newsreader. He doesn't know how to read teleprompts, so you can't expect him to just read any teleprompt that's been put in front of him. So I can completely sympathise with what happened to him, with whatever happened with the teleprompt, whether it was the wrong script or it went too fast or whatever. And yes, he should have done some more preparation, but his main job isn't a live public speaker. He's a YouTuber. No. He might have a Twitch channel, but that's so different to being in front of a few thousand people and then the whole internet.